Get ready. It's going to be a very, very intense journey.
What's up, everyone? And welcome to episode 123 of Frame Skip. I am Andie Eller. Just heard a great thing off air. Not sure if we want to repeat it. I'm joined by George, the
Bottle Pisser Loftus. Yeah, what's up? We're fucking here. We did it. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
How are you, George?
Embarrassed. I have an arrow garden in my office. I got a nice little cherry tomato plant.
Mm-hmm.
And Seth thought I was pissing.
Well, because you were like leaning awkwardly over to the side, and I kept hearing it, and I'm like, he can go to the bathroom. I know we're starting, but
no, just uncomfortable. I've had a pretty bad week. I self-diagnosed myself with plantar fasciitis. That thing with your foot, where your foot feels like you're stepping on a goddamn Lego every second of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you guys actually know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No.
Famous MMA champion Dominic Cruz had it.
It's a super common thing. It's like the Achilles tendon is just like really tough, and so you need to like stretch your foot out. Just give it extra time. You should be able to cure it on your own. It's just my favorite thing to do. Like I go for so many walks in a day, try to walk like between 8 and 10 miles a day, and it just really hurts to do that now. Sucks.
Speaking of people who do not have bottles in their room, well, maybe he has a few. He's just not using them for, bathroom purposes. Seth, Slakehouse, how's it going?
Dude, it's going real good. I woke up 2 hours ago. I'm sitting here chilling. I got my Coke Zero with me. All right, the best Coke. And let me tell you,
last episode, I remember that.
Yeah. I just got to reaffirm every single episode that the best Coke is Coke Zero. Yeah. And let me tell you what, if there is ever any side effects from drinking Coke Zero, I'm definitely screwed because I drink every day. I'm on that Coke Zero grind every day.
So, I forget if we talked about this last week. If you can't get a Coke Zero, what's your next choice?
I don't even know anymore.
No other choice.
Probably like water.
No, you gotta have a next man up mentality. We asked about this. You asked if you go to a restaurant and they like Pepsi instead of Coke. You asked about that.
Yeah, like I will reluctantly drink something else, but I don't really have like a number two. You know, I don't really like the full sugar sodas anymore. I'm not really into that. Mm-hmm. And the Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi is just disgusting. It's the most horrific thing that mankind has ever created or done. And I might just say that water is my follow up to Coke Zero.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's basically Coke Zero or go home.
Or nothing. Yeah. Well, and I'm not like one of these animals that only drinks soda. Like I drink quite a bit of water as well. So I try to keep it balanced. But I will say I do consume probably 4 to 5 cans of Coke Zero a day.
It's a lot, man. But I had 3 cans of ginger ale today. So who am I to argue?
That's right. And you're also in Maine. So be quiet up there.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, just because we can go outside and breathe air, see blue skies, lash out. This is your first.
I couldn't even hear. I just heard the jumble Maine mess.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's another week. Here we are. We're back this time coachless. Coach was with us last week. He is not with us this week. He's off doing better things. He's hitting the roads of Texas. But we're stuck here. We're stuck at our computers. We're stuck here talking about whatever random nonsense we talk about every week. And that includes, typically, nerd stuff. So we're going to be talking this week about soundtracks, and the importance of music and all that good stuff, and games and TV shows and movies. But I want to start off, actually, I want to just jump right into this with a fun little game here. Because we haven't really done anything like this before. And I'm hoping this works out as I'm attending. We'll see if this, just totally fails live as we record this. But I'm actually going to test the guys on, I think I have 7 songs here from video games. And I've got 5-second snippets of these songs and 15-second snippets of these songs. And I'm going to start with the 5. I'm going to give you guys the chance to say whether you know what game the song is from. So I'm not asking you to say you know the exact song. It's just what is the song from. And if you get it first, I'll give you a point. And then we'll go from there. We'll have a winner at the end of the day. So just raise your hand first, and the first one I see will be the one I'll choose. So let's jump right into it. You guys ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay.
I'm decently ready. Yeah.
I'm going to start with an easy one, because I feel like this is one you guys can get, both of you. What game is this song from? Seth.
God, why did you wait so long? Final Fantasy VII.
That's correct. That's correct. There you go. 1 point for Seth.
I think it just threw my shoulder out.
Yeah.
And shoved it so far in the air.
I was like, this has got to be one that somebody's got to get here. Somebody's got to get here.
I never played Final Fantasy VII.
I want you to know that I actually didn't know the answer at the time I raised my hand. I just knew I recognized the song and the answer was going to come to my head. I trusted in the force.
In the process.
Okay. Here we go. Here's our next one. Either of you know that one? Have any
I got nothing.
inclination?
No.
Okay. I've got the 15-second version. Let's try this out.
Halo.
Say it, George.
That's Halo, baby. That's Halo 2?
What?
Halo 1, but I'll take it.
Halo 1. Okay.
Wow. I don't recognize that at all.
Yeah.
I reckon those Moroccan beats.
Yep.
Pick those out of a cityscape.
So I think I'm trying to remember what mission that song was from, and I should have looked this up before. I think it's the one where you're in the jungle and it's dark outside. You know what I'm talking about? You're going through a sniper rifle.
Okay, that's
I could be wrong.
Is that Halo 3?
No, that's Halo 1.
Yeah. So I'm not positive.
That feels right. I forget what that mission's got. It's like Silent Arbiter, like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. So you guys are tied up. Here we go again.
I think I got it.
Okay.
Dragon Age Inquisition.
No.
God.
I think I got it.
Go ahead.
Skyrim.
There you go.
Ah!
There you go. All right. Seth's got one. George's got two. Yeah, I chose that one because, I was listening through the Skyrim soundtrack and I was like, what's a song that's kind of vague but still feels very like Skyrim-like? Like, I think of that song, just walking around the world, hearing that song in Skyrim. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with myself right now.
I mean, I played like 900 hours in that fucking game set, so
Yeah, well, so did I.
couldn't have gone to a better dude. Just look at it like that. Couldn't have gone to a better George.
Could have gone someone south of Maine.
That's true.
I guess, yeah, you're right. It could have, but it didn't. So
All right.
that sucks for you.
So I'm going to be honest. I chose this next one kind of with Coach in mind, so we'll see how this goes. I don't know if you guys have played this game. We're going to find out real quick.
Rogue Squadron.
Want me to play it again?
Yeah, I really do. Yeah.
I can give you the extended.
What is Costume Quest?
Yeah, play the 15-second version, man. Come on.
I got it. Breath of the Wild.
No.
Rogue Squadron.
No.
You know it's not Rogue Squadron.
It's not Republic Commando either.
Is it
Damn, that's my next one.
Episode 1 Racer? No. Is it Bug Fable?
No.
Okay.
The only other game I know that Coach played was Costume Quest.
Okay, so do you guys want to ask questions and I'll point you in the direction, or do you want me to just give you the answer?
Just give us a time frame of when the game came out.
Mid 2000s, GameCube.
Tales of Symphonia.
Yeah, no.
Suck.
Capcom.
Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4?
That's right.
Oh.
Oh my god,
It is
really?
the save room theme of Resident Evil 4.
Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I'm sure somebody was listening to that freaking out. These idiots! Can't take it anymore.
No, someone has to listen to our podcast.
That's true.
All right.
Self-burn! Yeah.
So this one brought back a lot of childhood memories for me. This is where we get to the hard stuff. So we've got 3 songs left here. Sound familiar at all? Any idea?
Could not.
Ape Escape.
Nope.
Could not hear it at all. I was like, you're playing the game, Seth. Stop.
Oh,
Sorry.
I just lost George's camera. George, did you disappear?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
You are, but I can't see you anymore. There we go. Okay.
Can you play the 15 second?
I will.
Okay. Oh.
Go.
Is that Crash Bandicoot?
No, but close.
I know.
Oh, fuck you. Crash Team Racing?
Nope.
Okay.
Seth?
Spyro the Dragon.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah.
That is Artisan's Home is the name of the track.
That sucks, man. I platinumed all 3 of those games.
Yeah, I
not
know.
that
But
long
I
ago.
had you in mind, George, when I chose that song. So I got to be honest, I'm a little disappointed right now.
Well, it's because I did what I told Seth not to do. I wasn't playing the game. I was playing the player.
Okay, this one seems a little one-sided now, knowing the audience we had here. I thought maybe Coach would have a chance at this one, but let's see. Let's see if the person I'm thinking stands a chance at this one.
He's right there.
Oh!
Go.
Is it F-Zero?
No, you're in the right direction, though. In the right direction. It is on a Nintendo system. I'll give you that.
I dig deep.
It's a little more recent. A little more recent.
I don't.
Oh.
Go.
I feel bad not giving Seth a guess first, so he goes and then I'll go.
Well, no,
I don't have a guess.
Seth is dead right now. He give.
I don't have anything. I don't have a guess.
Is it Fire Emblem Three Houses?
No, but you are very close.
Very.
Very close. I'll tell you this: it's an RP. It is an RPG. It's an RPG.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Seth, you are gonna die.
Is it Xenoblade?
Yes,
Okay.
What?
it is the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 battle theme.
Why don't I recognize it? I put 100 hours in the
I don't know.
Xenoblade Chronicles too.
I don't know.
I don't know why I
which is-
can't recognize
I feel
that.
really sad for you right now that you can't get that.
Brain
Empty calories, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, Coke Zero.
Nothing.
rotting away my brain.
All right, here's my last one here, and then we'll get into our main topic. This one. We'll see
It's
what
the
happens.
tiebreaker.
You guys have both played a lot of this game. I know you both have. So let's see what happens here.
Are you sure?
Yep. Positive.
Okay.
I chose a very difficult song for the end, but I know you guys are going to get it as soon as I play the 15
We've
second.
played a lot of this game.
Did you look?
Alright.
Did you look at like our Switch profiles to see how many hours we dumped into games?
No, I just did a podcast with you for the past 3 years.
Oh, okay. Yikes.
Okay.
All right, I feel like when I hit the 15 second, you guys are both going to get this one, so I'm going to hit it. Seth?
Near Autonoma.
No.
Damn it.
No.
It honestly, it sounded like fucking. What's that movie with the Scarlett Johansson? It made everyone really mad when she was in it.
Oh, Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, it sounded like Ghost in the Shell. Like I was waiting for like the orchestral monk chant to begin.
I
Okay.
don't know. I honestly don't know a single game that me and George have both played a lot of time
This
with.
is a very
Yeah.
recent game. Very recent game.
Kirby? Is it a
Yeah,
Kirby game?
we all played a lot of this game. I'd say within the past year.
A lot?
Yeah. All of us. So it was long awaited. This comes from the final area in the game. You guys are... Wow, I'm surprised by this. This song was like super recognizable to you once you hit the vocals. It's a Switch game.
Didn't
Okay.
play my Switch a whole lot this last year.
I'm not gonna give this to either you guys. You guys can't get it.
No,
Is it a good Switch game?
Some people have their opinions.
and I've played a lot of it.
Okay, this is gonna kill it right here. There are two versions of this game. Oh my god, come on, guys.
It's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
That's right. This is the Area Zero.
I played 5 hours of that game, Austin.
You did? I thought you played a ton of this game.
No, I played 5 hours of that game.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
Now that we've talked about it, now I can recognize it. But wow, that was rough. It does sound exactly like a Nier Automata song, though.
Yeah.
I was gonna get Pokemon Snap because I put a lot of hours into that game recently, and it has like that weird reverence. I feel like it was a Pokemon game, but no, I wouldn't have guessed Pokemon Violet Scarlet in a million years.
Also, Area Zero, best part of Scarlet and Violet.
it is. It is.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
So I'm gonna be honest. I kind of stopped counting halfway through that, but I think you won, Seth. Correct?
I think
No.
me and George tied.
No, I got 4. He got 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody go back and watch because I.
4 and 3. We were 2 and 2.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna recount.
No,
this.
it was 3-1.
Seth got Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Yeah.
George, you got Skyrim.
Yes.
Yeah.
George, you got Resident Evil, correct?
I also got Halo, which you skipped, but yeah.
That's right. So you got
Oh,
Halo.
yeah, I forgot about
you
Halo.
got Spyro.
Seth got Spyro, yeah.
Seth got Spyro. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got Did I already say you got Xenoblade?
I got Xenoblade.
And then Seth got Pokemon. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's 4-3.
4-3. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm
So-
better than Seth. I'm glad we
Keep that
finally
in mind.
settled it.
George
Whatever.
won round 1 to this. I'm gonna do some more. Anytime I host, I'm gonna try and do some kind of interactive, fun little games like this. So this is the first.
How
of
did
many.
George get Xenoblade? I don't understand.
I don't know. George, have
You
you,
know what's
ever
funny?
played Xenoblade Chronicles 2?
I want to see the replay. I want to see the replay of George getting Xenoblade.
I haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but I did play probably like 40 hours, I want to say, of the first Xenoblade game.
Okay. So
The definitive edition. The game's really good. I just don't care about it at all. Like, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
but you nailed that battle
it
theme. Just gotta say.
doesn't.
All right,
The
guys.
game's phenomenal. Just don't care.
So the reason I wanted to start off with that, though, is I wanted to kind of talk tonight on kind of our favorite game soundtracks, but also just like soundtracks that have added to our game enjoyment or media enjoyment in general, not just games. So I honestly, what kind of prompted this idea for me was we just went and saw over the weekend the new Spider-Verse movie, Across the Spider-Verse, which I thought was excellent. I'd probably put it on par with the first movie. I don't know if I'd put it above, but I'd say it was pretty much just as good. And, that first movie was so soundtrack driven. That was such a major part of that film, was just the awesome score that it had. And I'd say the same goes for 2. I don't think 2 had quite as good of a score, but, that first movie was so music driven that, that really put my mind on music. And so I wanted to give us all kind of a chance to talk here for a few minutes, like I said, kind of about our favorite soundtracks and then favorite, I guess, moments that soundtracks have added to our enjoyment experience of different medias. So George, anything you want to start with? Any particular soundtrack you want to talk about or moment in a media that was aided by the
Yeah,
soundtrack?
for sure. I think it's such an important part of my youth in particular. Like honestly, the older I've gotten, the less I've like kind of cared about scores, just because it's so much easier to access good scores without the thing they're accompanying. Like I don't play a lot of Final Fantasy games or like even a lot of Zelda games to be honest, but like I listen to that music. Like it's just so easy to find like a great, 10-hour playlist on YouTube or Spotify or something. So it's been easier for me the older I've gotten to like distinguish the two and separate them. But I couldn't do that when I was a kid because like, just the internet wasn't there yet. So like the music, especially from like the late PlayStation 1 era through I'd say like the middle of the PlayStation 2 era, and like I'm including like Dreamcast and like early, GameCube and all that shit. The breakcore, I've since recently learned that is like the genre of music. But like the stuff that would appear during like a snowboarding game or like an early Gran
Oh, heck
Turismo
yeah.
or
Yeah.
and it's like I can't even like name the songs, but I can like tell you exactly how it made me feel. It made me feel like I was holding the fucking future in my hands with like all this like digital snare drums, all this stuff. Like it was just so fast paced. It was so unique and so different because everything on the radio was still kind of like in that post grunge era. And this is like when pop music really started, I felt like to take center stage in my life because like 98 was like, that was Astro Lounge by Smash Mouth, right? That was like Britney Spears' debut. That was,
Yeah.
I think, Backstreet Boys' second album. Like it was just like, so pop was like really on the rise and TRL was becoming increasingly important in my life and just like watching MTV in general. And that was like during the summer, I remember like watching like the VH1 top 10 music video countdown every single morning. I was so fucking hyped and so into it. Just like, oh, wait, Goo Goo Dolls, they were number 3 yesterday. Where are they going to be today? But then still like being like, oh, this music sucks. I want to hear something that was a little heavier. But then like you'd go to video games and it was so singularly electronic in a way that just wasn't anywhere else on like American airwaves anyway. Like I know Prodigy was there and shit like that, but it was way harder to find back then. And so, God damn, man, yeah. Like Ridge Racer, R-Type, that soundtrack is flawless. I just listened to the soundtrack.
Yeah. Dude,
so fucking good.
That's such a good comment too, because like I never really think, to be honest with you, about like those original Gran Turismo soundtracks or just Gran Turismo soundtracks in general.
Mhm.
They all, though, have such phenomenal music and just super underrated. And they really do, like, I think back to, I don't know how to describe it, but the green flag countdown on Gran Turismo and hearing that like boo and hearing those wonderful songs that play, that really brings back so many
Well,
memories. For me.
underrated part about the transition from cartridges to disc, right, was just like all of a sudden like that audio fidelity got so much better.
Yep.
And like you could actually start having like legitimate soundtracks as opposed to just like 8-bit MIDI tunes. And like I'm not knocking, like that shit is some of my favorite to listen to.
Yeah.
But like it was just like, oh my god, like this technology is advancing and you could feel it advancing every time you picked up a new game because someone just like picked up the baton and just took it further with each new release on those early games.
Yeah. Seth, do you have anything you want to chime in on?
Yeah, so I actually didn't think when you originally brought this idea up, I was going to have much to say. But the more I sat here and typed up a list and looked up the games that I've played, the more I realized that I actually do have a lot of notable video game soundtracks that stick with me.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one I wanted to talk about most notably was Persona 5.
Yeah.
Because almost every single vocal track from that game I listen to on a frequent basis or a cover of that. Persona 5, I think, stands alone as the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. And I don't think it's actually even close anyway. Especially like I don't remember the name of the song, but the song that plays when you fight the boss or are going to fight the boss in the final dungeon, because you know what I'm talking about, like you go through a dungeon
in the desert.
Yeah, Rivers in the Desert.
Yeah.
Phenomenal song.
Yes.
That I still listen to all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. It's hard for me to say what my favorite soundtrack of all time is when it comes to games, but I mean Persona 5 definitely is like top tier. I think the thing that's so good about that, and George, I'd say the same goes for like that, 90s era, like you said, snowboard racing type music, is with Persona 5, it feels like it could be music that like could be totally unassociated with the game. I mean, it's just good, good, good music. And
Yeah.
that's the most impressive part about all that to me. One day I would love, I don't know if you know this, Seth, every year Atlas does a Persona concert in Tokyo.
I didn't know that.
It's spread over 2 days, and they have songs they play live from all 5 games. And they actually have the actual singers. So like Lynn, who is the main vocal singer in Persona 5, like she will be there singing the song. So that's like a bucket list thing for me. It's like I would just love to go to one of those concerts.
I have a friend who stays up until like 5 a.m. every year to watch it.
Yeah.
And then I had some other games I wanted to talk about. The next one down, I think you have to mention when it comes to like historical soundtracks. That's Street Fighter.
Yeah.
The popular YouTube trend Guile's theme goes with everything. And Guile's theme, Ken's theme, Ryu's theme.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like 3 top tier themes. And then the next thing I had written down was Final Fantasy 14, specifically the Shadowbringer soundtrack. Final Fantasy 14 always had phenomenal music, specifically their boss themes. But the Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringer's boss theme at the end of the dungeons is one of, in my opinion, the greatest soundtracks of all time. It sounds like it could just be like the main soundtrack for the actual game. Phenomenal.
Wait, can I call a timeout for a second?
Yes.
Before you keep going, I just want to talk about like how video games is like, or was and is my gateway into like classical music. Like, I don't give a fuck about classical music. I really don't. Right? Like, I can't tell you a Chopin from like a Brahms. Like, I just don't know old composers. But like to hear the shit they do for games, absolutely incredible, man. Like it makes me give a shit. I'm like, yeah, we need more clarinetists and more flautists. Like, don't cancel the art programs at these schools. Like, we need people to keep making these fucking epic soundtracks. Because, like, I love a good guitar riff. But, man, nothing sounds cooler than, like, a room full of fucking guitar, like, violin strings, right? Just, like, all of a sudden, just, like, telling me exactly how I'm supposed to feel. Like, it just punches your heart, like, right in the chest. It's so fucking good.
Dude, that's so true, too. And especially when you get to see some of those performances live. One of my favorite things, and I wish they would bring it back, was the Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses that they did like in the early 2010s. I went to that twice, and just incredible. I mean, it was just an orchestra playing Zelda music, which, such an underrated like event to attend in general. I wish they would do more of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The next one I wanted to talk about was Chrono Cross. I think Chrono Cross is widely regarded as having like one of the first really incredible soundtracks of all time. And for the longest time, it would be on like every list of like the best game soundtracks of all time. But I think in recent years, just due to like the popularity of video games and how much this medium's blown up, it's probably gotten knocked down that list pretty far. But it's still got like really incredible tracks like Starcrossed Lover, I think it is, that has like a really emotional theme. Definitely the first game I ever played that really had a soundtrack that got to me.
Yeah.
Just real quick here, I have Nier Automata written down. And Nier Automata has a soundtrack that, although it isn't really my type of music, it has very emotional themes that I think really help tell the story that and really help give you the emotions, because it's a very emotional game that they're trying to get across. So, I mean, if people haven't played Nier Automata, you really should. It's what I would consider like as close to real works of art that we can get in video games. It's a very artistic game.
That's a game I still need to play.
And the guy who makes it, Yoko Taro, is hilarious. Did you guys, just a quick aside, did you guys see like his tweet about like someone asking him how he feels about people making like pornographic like depictions of 2B? And he just replied like he just replied like, I think it's awesome.
Oh my god!
I mean, he's such a funny guy, and he wears that stupid like moon head thing. Yeah, every time he goes public.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry, the franchise, specifically 3 and 5. Devil May Cry 5 has another. It's another soundtrack that I listen to probably almost on a daily basis. It's Devil. I don't know, I forget the name of the song. I had to look at my phone, but that's got a really phenomenal soundtrack for all three characters, and then 3 also has a really cool soundtrack. They're both like heavy metal soundtracks.
Nice.
I'm really into like video game soundtracks that have vocals in them that aren't just background music.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my final song that I wanted to talk about specifically, which is the Control Maze theme, which is just insane. So good. Have you ever played Control, George?
No, I got like 2 or 3 hours into it, but I was playing on a launch PlayStation 4, and it was just so annoying to play it that way.
You should play Control on your PS5. Control is one of like those hidden gem games I think that did not get enough attention, and it is a really truly phenomenal game.
Okay.
But I think, in my opinion, that Maze theme song might be the best theme song of all time in a video game.
So yeah, I was actually gonna, for my list, Control was like top for me as well. They that song specifically, that song is called Take Control, which is wonderful. It's like 7.5 minutes long, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very long song. And, you know, for a long time, Remedy, I guess since Alan Wake, has worked with this band. I believe it's Poets of the Fall is the name of the band.
Yeah, but that's not... They have like an in-universe name, right?
Right. Their in-game universe name is the Old Gods of Asgard.
Yes.
And but Sam Lake, who is like I don't know what his title is, if he's the president of Remedy or what his exact position
Creative
is.
director.
Yeah. But he apparently was like good friends with the singer from Poets of the Fall, and eventually when Alan Wake came out, he decided to include their music in that game. And ever since then, I think aside from in Quantum Break, they've really used their music in a lot of their titles. And so even in Alan Wake, though, there's a moment where you go to this like stadium and you're like finding the like ghosts or whatever you want to call them. I forget what they called them in that game. In this stadium, and they play this Poets of the Fall music, like blast it through the stadium speakers during this fight sequence, and it's wonderful. But just in general, their music I find really enjoyable, and Take Control in particular just really hits home when you're playing the Ashtray Maze sequence. Just it's so good. And that song, and then there's another song that plays, Seth, I don't think this is mandatory. I don't think everybody gets this area, but there's a part in that game where you go into this little like recording studio, and it turns out that like the song that's in there is a object of power.
That's in the DLC, isn't it, where you're chasing it down the track?
No, but that's also a really good song. I forgot about that. It's just like a little side room where you're walking around, and you walk in, and they're like, yeah, this song is an object of power, and it drives people crazy. It's also a song by Poets of the Fall, also excellent.
No, I don't think I heard that.
Yeah.
Control's one of those games like I want to play it again so bad. And maybe I will before Alan Wake 2 comes out. But I was trying to find the name of that Devil May Cry 5 song, but apparently YouTube Music did an update where they can no longer show you all your likes, which is really annoying. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Control has great music though. I'd say all of Remedy's games do. Alan Wake also has a wonderful soundtrack because it's got the same creative minds behind it. I'm hoping 2 sticks with that. And then I would say, of course, like I mentioned earlier, Zelda, just in general, I think that whole franchise has some really wonderful, almost sticking with what George said like that classical style music. There's some really good stuff in Twilight Princess that is just outstanding. And then Tears of the Kingdom, actually, kind of a departure from Breath of the Wild on that front. It's got some really good music as well, because Breath of the Wild was kind of silent.
Yeah. All right, so. Take it easy.
Really quick.
Yeah.
I just, before we like get too far away from it, I just also really want to shout out like the sourcing of external songs on certain games.
Yep.
Like where would we be without Tony Hawk? Where would we be without Crazy Taxi?
Yeah.
You know, where would we be? Like, I remember, like, as a 12-year-old playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City and, like, driving down at sunset to Dance Hall Days by Wang Chung, just being like, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever done. Or I was 12. I didn't know that things could get better. But, like, just for music, like, discoverability. Like, it just, oh, man. Like, the curation, because there was such limited space that, like, it really did feel like the greatest hits would make the cut for games back then before, you know, 140 gig files or whatever, you know, back when they had to be a bit more judicious with what songs made the cut.
Grand Theft Auto is so good about that too. That honestly, that's a really good mention. The soundtracks in those games, I mean, God, I'll never forget. I mean, this is more recent, but in 5, when the what do you call them? The heists, when they came out, and we did Seth. I forget. It was you and me, and maybe it was Blake. I forget who else was playing with us, but we did that one mission where you had to fly the jet, and of course. Like of course they spent their OST budget on that, or their score budget on that, on Kenny Loggins' Danger Zone. The second you get in like an F-15 and take off as part of the heist, just wonderful.
I remember getting so mad during that mission because as soon as I'd get in the jet, it would explode, and I kept thinking it was Blake shooting a missile at me, and I kept like screaming at him, like getting so mad, and then it turned out it was just a glitch in the game because GTA 5 was like a glitchy mess. But the song I was looking for that I couldn't think of because I have severe brain damage was called Devil Trigger. So definitely. Also, if you guys haven't played Devil May Cry 5, give it a shot. Best action game of all time.
Nice.
In my opinion.
I've never played any Devil May Cry games at all.
You don't need to play all of them.
Okay.
Just play 5. The other ones have not aged well. I would say 3 has aged the best, but like they do the old school Capcom thing where you can't control the camera, and when you walk into a new room, the camera angle changes.
Yeah,
and it's a static camera, so it hasn't aged well. And like the first and second ones have specifically aged really bad. Devil May Cry 3 is still probably an all-time great action game, though.
Okay, so I'd say one more game here, and then I've got a movie I want to mention. Ace Attorney, the first original trilogy. They have some of the best kind of chiptune music that I've heard. You know, originally they launched on GBA, and they just have some really great songs. And you know, each game has a song that plays the second you've got like the suspect, quote unquote, kind of nailed down. Like you've got that final piece of evidence you're about to lay down and like basically wrap up the case. And each game has that specific song that just gets you hyped to like press a button and lay down this piece of evidence. It's so good. In the first game, it's called Cornered. Really, really good music there. And then movie-wise, I just wanted to say, best movie soundtrack of all time, Tron Legacy.
Ooh, maybe. We just watched Tron Legacy because of the Disney hype, and I would agree. Tron Legacy has a pretty phenomenal song. Overall, awesome. What did you think of that Tron ride?
Oh, I love that ride. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I wish it was a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, I thought it was wonderful. Honestly, I came out thinking it's still hard for me to decide whether I liked it or Guardians more.
Yeah, the Tron ride, specifically with that fast pass like intro scene that we get, where it like turns you into the computer program.
Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool. George, go to Disney World.
Okay. Really quick chat, like you mentioned it during the trivia game, but man, the fucking Halo soundtrack, that was like a life-changing thing for me. Like that was, nothing had ever sounded like that in any kind of capacity for video games, especially, right? At least nothing mainstream that like I could access in bumblefuck nowhere, Maine, you know, at Walmart. And like I'm telling you, man, Halo 2, when like at the end of the game, when you're going through and there's like the civil war happening between the elites and the brutes, and you like open up the room and it's like the hunters are fighting the elites or fighting the brutes, and there's like a three-way battle, and then like it's like the soundtrack, or like the melody to Blow Me Away by Breaking Benjamin starts playing. And like I was really into that music. I was watching this channel called Fuse every single fucking day at that point in my life because it was like it's like MTV but they still play music videos and it was all just like emo pop punk shit. And then I like recognized that song. It's just like this is the coolest thing ever. And I remember like it made me want to play the game better because I just had like such a cool soundtrack to eviscerate these aliens to. But like just like the piano trickle in 3, I think it's called like One Final Effort, like the dun dun dun,
so good.
Dun, dun. It's fucking amazing. Like everything about those games. That's like Marty O'Donnell, right? Did the soundtrack for that and did the score for that. Sorry, and did like Destiny before Destiny 2. I think he was let go from the company, and then Jeremy Soule over at Bethesda doing like the Skyrim games. Like that stuff was also. I wanted so bad for Skyrim to be like a podcast game for me when I first started playing it. I'm like, oh, it's just a big dumb open world. I can just like listen to Podcast Beyond or GameScoop and Tech Fetish and whatever else IGN was doing at the time and just play this game. But the music was so good, I just didn't actually want to. So for like the first 100 hours until I heard every bit of music I could possibly hear from that game, like I just had to listen to it. That game it just sounds beautiful.
You know what we don't talk about enough? How IGN had a podcast called Tech Fetish.
Dude, that was my it. That was the first one I started listening to at IGN.
What a weird name. They also had a love show at one point, didn't they?
Knocking Boots, baby.
Knocking Boots. Yeah, Greg was on Knocking Boots. Yeah.
I remember I worked at like a newspaper at the time in college, one of my like the humor paper at my school. And I remember being like, we should totally do this. We should start like a dating advice podcast. And I thank God every day that we did not do that. If there was like something recorded about like what my opinions were back then, I'm like, oh dude, no, it's so cool. Just take her out to this restaurant. It's so great. It's 2-for-1 wingman. I'm like, just like, God. Oh man, she like she fucking sucks. Dump her. Like, I'm just so glad there's no like record of me like saying that. It's like, what? She wants you to meet her parents? You guys have only been together 6 months. Like, there's just like all this like embarrassing shit. I'm sure I would have said. I'm sure I would have said terrible things and just like called people bad names. And I'm just so glad that I just didn't do that. Like, I just didn't open that door. Thanks, IGN, for making me think I could do that, though. You made me believe. I love Tech Fetish though, because I wanted some like new headphones, and they were reviewing headphones on one episode, and that was how I started listening to that show, and then I got into the IGN podcast universe that way.
Did you listen to them on the new headphones after you got the new headphones?
Oh no, I stuck with my Apple, like the old like magnetic AirPod shit.
Okay, so there's something that has been bugging me my whole life, and this kind of ties into the music thing. Here's my theory. I think most expensive headphones and earbuds are a scam. And I've heard this from multiple people that like Beats by Dre are like no better than $20 headphones. And I wanted to get you guys' take on this.
I think it depends on what you're comparing it to, frankly. And it also depends on the music you're listening to. I'll be honest, I've never really bought super high-end like headphones or anything. I did, however, when it comes to earbuds, I did start off with, when it comes to wireless earbuds, I did start off with the first like Samsung Galaxy Buds that they released, whenever that was, like 4 or 5 years ago. And then this year I bought the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro. And that
That's a great name.
XL 2023 edition remastered. It was, to me, a huge upgrade with these, but I think it was primarily because the original Galaxy Buds didn't really have a whole lot of bass to them, and these do. And so, to me, the bass improvement was like really the main thing. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about the whole like $500 headphone movement, to be honest with you.
What about like the $180 headphone? You know?
Yeah, I mean that's about what I paid for my new earbuds. So,
dude, I bought the AirPods like because I think I'm the only one on this podcast who has like an Apple device, right?
Nerd.
Who uses like iPhone.
Coach does.
Yeah, Coach has an iPhone.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. Man, AirPods are so like they work so great, but the microphone in them dies so fast. And so like I bought a pair of AirPods, had them for about a year, and then the microphone went. And then my girlfriend bought AirPod Pros or AirPod Extremes, whatever they're fucking called. and she bought them like kind of by accident. So we actually just did like a swap. Like I bought her a new pair of like the basic ones. She's like, yeah, I don't want anything too intense. And they fit so much more comfortably. They're great. They have like awesome sound quality. But the microphone on them lasted like 3 weeks. So like it's gotten to the point where like I need to go everywhere with 2 sets of headphones because I want like the AirPods to be like comfortable and convenient. But if I get like a phone call, like I just can't talk on the phone with those AirPods. Like it is so goddamn annoying. And then I have to like hold on a second, answer the phone call, put it on speaker, and then as soon as like they start talking after I've set it to speaker, it resets to my AirPods, which are still in my ears, and I have to take those out, put them back in their case, plug in the headphone. It's such an annoying process, man. Like I don't understand how like people get by with AirPods as like the only thing they talk on. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I've never talked on earbuds, but I definitely use them like every day. And I was actually pretty mad when the phones got rid of the auxiliary port because what I used to do was have these things called plug phones, and they looked just like earplugs. And you'd put them in your ears. So at work, I would run it down the back of my shirt and into my pocket, and I would listen to my music at work. And you can no longer do that because you could obviously tell that I'm wearing earbuds without a cord. But I exclusively only pay like $40 and under for my earbuds and headphones. And
How often do you go through them?
I've had these for 2 years. I've had my earbuds for a year and a half, and the only reason I had to get new ones was because I lost the old ones that I've had for like 3 years. I don't break them. I use them almost every day, and I just feel like headphones are way overpriced, and they're not worth paying hundreds of dollars for. And
Aaliyah's had a pair of like Bose noise canceling headphones that like are Bluetooth, sync up to like 5 different devices, and like also have like a built-in microphone. She's had the same pair for 5 years, and she says like they run just as well now as like the day she got them. And those were like $200. I've been looking at like the AirPod Extremes, like the giant like over the ear Apple device. I'm like, I don't think I want to be that jackass who pays $500 for a set of headphones. Like I just don't think I can do it.
Yeah.
So George, I didn't know this about you. Are you like a serious Apple consumer? Like, will you buy pretty much everything Apple puts out?
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy the $3,500 headset?
No. When I say buy everything they put out, I do not buy everything they put out. I do have like if I'm getting a tablet, I'm gonna look at an iPad first. If I'm getting a phone, like I'm gonna look at iPhone first. I just grew up with Mac, and in Maine they had this like pilot program to see how computers improve test scores. And so in 6th grade, we all got MacBooks.
Wow.
And so like that's just like a computer I've had. They were like state issued like by the school. I didn't have it like during the summer or anything, but during the school year, we were all given MacBooks, and that's like what we typed papers on. That was like what we did research on. That was what we did whatever on. And so I've just been using a Mac since I was 12 years old. So I just like really don't know. Like I have a PC, I bought a gaming PC, and it is so foreign and weird to me. And like it just nothing about it like makes sense. I have to like Google everything I'm trying to do on it.
I can understand that. Did you buy the $1,000 monitor stand they put out?
I did not. No, I did buy a Mac Mini, and that is like no joke, probably the best computer they've ever made. Like the M2 Mac Mini, that shit it's so good.
What do you think? Did you look at anything about their $3,500 headset?
I think it looks really cool and it looks promising. My favorite thing about it is that it's not VR, it's AR, and so like they understand that like people don't want to be entirely closed off. So like I don't think it's like a gaming rig. I think it's like a productivity thing, and it's at that point like, dude, I'm not gonna pay $3,500 to work better. Like that's just like not really what I'm interested in. But like I don't think they've made like a bad piece of tech in the last 15 years. I think they've made very like niche. What is the official podcast stance on that word? They've made very Nike. Okay. Just do it, Nike. Okay. I think they've made like very specific, very particular tech, but like even when they had like that donut shaped Mac Pro, right? Like the giant like cylinder one that was like open.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that was a bad computer. I just think it's like, oh, this is for people who like work at fucking like Universal or like NBC and like have to edit, reality shows 18 hours a day. Like it's a really good computer for that, but like I don't need that,
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I mean the technology seems cool with the headset, but Yeah, I mean, no common consumer is going to spend that kind of money, but I mean, it is their first iteration. And I did see a good point online the other day that's like, and take with this what you will. I don't know if I fully believe it, but this person's thought process was like, well, Apple knows what they're doing. They're going to release this somewhat unreachable product, and then eventually, in 5 years, they'll get it down to a price point that people can afford. But because it launched as this unreachable thing initially, everybody's going to want it once it is reachable. So it's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see if it goes that way. But yeah, I don't know. I thought they kind of look like ski goggles to me, to be honest with you.
I don't like
sure
the
did.
fake eyes. The fake eyes creep me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a big fan of that.
Yeah. So, by the way, I wanted to jump back to the music thing for just a second because I failed to mention, and Andie actually wrote this in the chat, and I should have brought this one up earlier. Doom 2016 has one of the best soundtracks of all time, I'd say, because that game, the music is so essential to the flow of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, unlike any other game out there, in my opinion. I mean, to me, the reason that game feels so aggressive and like fast is because of Mick Gordon's music. So it's a shame what happened with him and everything that went down with Eternal, but still, his soundtrack in 2016 is phenomenal. So. Anything?
Also, man,
go ahead.
Really quick, like just Nintendo, just kind of like living on their own island too. Like I love how like Mario brought back like big swing jazz, right?
Yeah.
Like not just like New Donk City, but like I don't know, like all their games. Like I don't think anyone does like a happy score quite like Nintendo, especially in, like I've replayed Super Mario Galaxy not that long ago. It's just like Jesus Christ, like this game just feels like a Valium pill. You take with your thumbs. Like it's pretty amazing how well they're supposed to like how well they do translate how you're supposed to be feeling as you're doing something, and then like the menacing shift they do to like when you're fighting like a Koopa Kid or like Bowser. Like it's just it seems so basic, but if it's so basic, then like how come no one else can do it as well? You know, like I just think Nintendo figures out a way to do simple in such a exceedingly effective way that it makes it so obvious that it's anything but simple.
Yeah. Well, anything you guys want to add on before we wrap it up here? Anything you guys have been playing you guys want to talk about or watching or reading? Anything of that note?
I finished Light of the Jedi. Did I tell you guys that?
Oh, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. I really did. I immediately jumped into the second book.
Nice.
Yeah, I did, and I actually liked it so much that I bought the hardcover version for my collection.
Awesome.
So, cool.
Yeah.
How many books are in that series now?
3.
Okay.
With the 4th one coming out. But they did a really annoying thing with the High Republic, which I don't like, which is they started phase 1 and made everything around this like disaster that's in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And then in phase 2, they made it was all prequel stuff to that.
Oh, that's weird.
And then phase 3 takes place after phase 1, and I'm not really a fan of that. So where I go after the books is like very confusing to me because I think it all ties together. So I'm not really sure how to read this. I decided just to read the 3 books and then figure it out later.
Yeah, I need to go back to Light of the Jedi. I did get it like right when it came out, and I think I read about the first 100 pages or so, but I was sidetracked with whatever else was happening at the time. I think there were some games coming out or something, and I just never got around to finishing it. But I will say, and I think I told you this over text, that the whole disaster plot that it starts with is very, very creative, very innovative for the Star Wars universe. I really enjoyed that portion of the plot.
Yeah, I agree. And like I think I told you guys over text, like, I really went into this very skeptical about like the Jedi not having a serious antagonist, and that's what I thought this all was just like these Jedi like dealing with small scale like little space antics, and that's why I didn't jump into the High Republic originally. But the Nihil are like a really interesting foe with a cool ability that feels very refreshing from the classic like dark side Sith, and I can see why you guys both like dropped the book halfway through, because I think it does get a little boring halfway through, and there's just too many characters they try to include at one time. Too many. Like there's way too much going on. I constantly have to Google a character to be like, oh yeah, that's this person. And that was only within, one book. So they tried to do too much. I think they could have tightened the story up to like 3 or 4 characters, because they jump around to like seemingly completely unconnected different stories with different groups of people, and I wasn't a big fan of that. But what I will say is I think the second book is a lot more well written than the first one. Although I did enjoy this book, like I said, quite a lot. So yeah, that's what I'm doing with my time now. I'm just jumping into the High Republic stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I've got to finish up Thrawn. I've put like the brakes on that once Tears of the Kingdom came out, but I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through that first Thrawn book, the first canon one, I should say. Came out in like 2014, I think it was. And there's some really good stuff in that book. I mean, it's all about like his upbringing, basically, and like how he became a Grand Admiral. So there's a lot of really interesting content in there. And I didn't realize initially, and maybe this is a slight spoiler, just not a huge deal, but the book is kind of split between Thrawn and Arinda Price, who I didn't realize was in Rebels, I guess, at some point. So it'll be interesting to have her backstory before watching Rebels. So I'll see how that goes.
Very cool.
George, anything you want to pick up on before we wrap it up here?
I haven't too much time to game. Aaliyah is out of town this weekend, so I think this weekend I'm going to make a concentrated effort to finish Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
Not going to platinum it, because honestly that game seems like a pain in the ass to platinum, not unlike the first game. And I can't wait to delete that because I got Diablo 4. So that's all I really want to play is Diablo 4, but I don't want to stop 2/3 of the way through Jedi Survivor just to start a new game. And I do not have the hard drive space to do that either. So
makes sense.
Did that. If you guys have the time or the inclination, I have never given a shit about the Punisher as a character ever. I just don't think he's particularly interesting. There is a book out right now written by Jason Aaron with art by Paul Asateca, I think is his name. He does like the flashbacks, and then Jesus Says does like the modern day. This Punisher book is fucking incredible. It's like one of the best things Marvel's done in the last 5 years, probably. And it's about him basically becoming the High Slayer of the Hand and becoming the embodiment of the devil. And it's about him awesome. Like unlocking God mode and just becoming the ultimate killer, the avatar of murder. It's fucking incredible. It is so intense and so just crazy. And it's so funny because like this book was coming out by the author Jason Aaron, who had gotten really maligned for like his recent Avengers run. And I finally caught up on that too. And like that book I thought was like really fun and like pretty good. Like I don't really understand why everyone was shitting on it. And it ended in a way that felt like an old like Kurt Busiek, Carlos Pacheco miniseries from years ago. Like it felt like Avengers Forever very much. And like it just ended on like what I thought was a really good note, and people were like just dunking on it, saying like I can't wait for this fucking run to end. I'm like, this is pretty good. Like Avengers comics weren't that awesome the couple years before this. Like what are you trying to get away from? And so the fact that like he was putting out this at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this dude's a good writer. Like you guys are just impatient as hell. This is when everyone was complaining about like the Punisher logo changing. You know, from like the typical skull shit, and like, you know, they added like horns to it. And everyone's like, this is so fucking lame. And like reading this book, I'm like, no, this isn't lame. It's actually the most hardcore book Marvel has like put out in 15 years since they got rid of like the Max line. So like, I cannot recommend that Punisher book enough.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't really been playing anything. Haven't had a whole lot of time the past week or so. A little bit more Tears of the Kingdom, but honestly, not a whole lot. But I did want to just mention briefly, I mentioned this earlier in the show, but I did go see Across the Spider-Verse in IMAX over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Loved it. Thought it was really, really good. So
Nice.
I am really looking forward to 3 and seeing where they go with the story. And honestly, it's pretty impressive, too, because I didn't realize this second movie is like an entirely different team from the first movie. So I thought they did a really good job kind of continuing the story and you know, making just an excellent Spider-Man movie. So
I saw it too. If you guys want to do a spoiler cast at some point,
yeah, let's do it.
Seth, did you see it?
No, I'm not going to go see it.
Oh man,
Okay.
it's so good, so good.
I'm sorry.
I don't care. You can make all the bad decisions you want in Pennsylvania. That's fine.
Well, Coach has
Jersey,
seen
wherever you
it.
are.
Coach has seen it, so we can do a 3-person spoiler cast at some point. I honestly think I want to see it again at some point. I don't know when that'll happen, but I do want to see it a second time. So
Everyone's like losing their mind saying it's like the best movie ever made. Like I'm not saying it's like good. Like,
yeah,
I think
I
that's
agree.
frankly preposterous, but like it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a amazing superhero movie, but I don't think it's like one of the best movies of all time or anything.
I didn't think it's as good as the first one, to be honest. But yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening, watching. Of course, just a quick reminder for those that are joining us for the first time, we did start live streaming the show on YouTube as of about a month ago. So if you are at all interested in watching our live streams as we record them, you can head on over to our YouTube channel. It's just Frameskip on YouTube, or you can go to bit.ly/Frameskip Live. So that's bit.ly/Frameskip Live, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification icon there to make sure you get notified when we go live every week. And you can catch us as we record. And of course, if you don't catch us as we record, you can catch the show a couple days later on your podcast service of choice. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that good stuff. So you can find the podcast on social media at Frameskip Pod on pretty much everything: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am on Twitter at Austin J. Eller. Seth the 90s Kid, but don't follow him. And George is at PurpleBird616.
Not anymore, baby.
Not anymore.
No, I'm just at Shortbox Summary now.
Okay, he is at Shortbox Summary.
Yeah, we're doing House of M. I'm doing like a solo pod on that this week, and then doing a big blowout for all the people I want to talk to. So if you guys want to talk about House of M, please let me know, because
I need to reread it. That was one of the first comics you recommended I read when we started doing the show a couple of
years ago. You were asking because it was around WandaVision time, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Loved House of M.
I have read 3 series now on George's recommendation that he told me we were going to later do a podcast about, and we haven't done any of them. So I have read all of House of M.
Oh, perfect. What are you doing this weekend?
I don't know, George. What am I doing this weekend?
let's chill. Let's talk about it. It's gonna be great. Also, sorry, while people are here, are we doing like the live stream for Summer Games Fest, or are we doing like a summary next week?
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be a summary for me, at least, unless you're able to, George, because I'm still gonna be at work tomorrow when it's airing, and then same thing goes for the Xbox showcase on Sunday.
In theory, I can host. In theory, I can host. I just don't think anyone wants to just watch me go like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. Oh, I don't like that at all. Like, I just don't think that's like a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
So if we could have 2 people, 3 and have a conversation, that would be great. But I don't want to do like a solo, so we'll save it for next week.
Okay.
On another note, I do feel like Xbox's conference is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be pretty big.
Okay, so here's what in the last segment here then. In the last minute, 60 seconds. What do you think, quality-wise, Summer Games Fest and Xbox Showcase this week are going to be like?
Summer Games Fest is going to be a C+. I think
Agree.
Xbox is going to be a B to B+.
Agree. Totally agree.
I think Summer Games Fest is going to be like a D, like it always is, and Xbox is going to be like an A.
I hope so.
Or an A+. I think Xbox is going to do really well this year. I feel it. I feel it in my balls.
Okay, really important. Do we get Avowed? Yes or no? Do we see anything more about Avowed? Yes.
I hope to God we do.
Is that game coming out this year? Yes or no?
No, next year.
Next spring.
Okay, Fable. Are we seeing anything on Fable? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, is it coming out this year?
No. We get a teaser at best.
Okay, anything about Halo, like the next season, or like how they're going to fix whatever the game Infinite?
No.
Are they going to mention Halo at all?
No.
Okay. Starfield. Do we have a confirmed release date for that game yet?
Yes.
We do. Are they going to delay that game again?
I don't think so.
Okay. What else do they have in the tank?
They're going to show Forza, the new simulation Forza. I know that.
Wow, thank God.
Yeah. They've already said that. I know that's coming. I wonder what we'll see from Bethesda, like aside from Starfield. I wonder if we're going to see anything.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of Starfield. I think we get a confirmed release date for Starfield, and I think it's possible we see something Elder Scrolls, like a little fucking.
No, fuck them. No, man, no, because they did that what feels like 18 years ago, and they just showed like a little tiny like overhead, like a fucking like drone footage, basically, and it's just like, okay, cool, like you haven't done shit, and like worst of all, you spent time and resources doing this. And like I assume they outsourced that to some like animation company that wasn't like anyone internal who could have been doing game development. But they spent that fucking money on something and it sure as shit wasn't a game, you know? So it's like Skyrim came out 11/11/11. It's been 22 billion years since that game came out. I just did the math. It's fine. Like, where's the fucking game?
It's, I really do think that they showed that off because they were horrified from the Fallout 76. Like they were getting lambasted. So I think that's why they did it.
I think this is going to be my prediction. I think we're going to see Wolfenstein 3 because they've already said that it is a trilogy.
Oh,
they had already confirmed
Indiana Jones. Yes or no? Are we going to see anything about that?
Yeah.
Is that game coming out this year?
No.
Oh,
movie's coming out this year. That would have been really fucking smart to like time it up with the movie.
Ooh, that would have been smart, but at the same time, that movie is getting not so good reviews. So
who gives a shit how reviews at fucking Con? Like, I don't care what the stupid French media elites think about fucking Indiana Jones.
That's true.
I also think we see the Ubisoft Star Wars game.
You think we see that at Xbox?
Well, yeah, I think it's probable at Xbox, but at Summer Games Fest because there's been a lot of leaks coming out about it that it might even come out in like the spring. So,
okay, well that was way longer than 60 seconds, but there's our predictions rundown for these next two shows. We'll talk about them all next week. Looking forward to having a big blowout show on those two showcases. So, we'll see you guys. I guess it'll be next Tuesday. So that would be. Let me confirm the date. If I can find it, because I upgraded to Windows 10 or Windows 11, and I don't know how to use Windows 11. That would be June 13th at 8 p.m. So go catch us on YouTube at that time. We will be live there and chat with us, and we'll be talking about those showcases. So we'll see how they go. Until next time. Adios.
Deuces.
Latest on the Menjay.